Fast forward in come our channel so how see AGH Politics Avenue. Podcast also training because make headlines and ya jemre na EDB exomo awa. Didi mnya ho braximu. Mesok say yembo inra yensimu. Unya Honorable Ahmed Ibrahim oye Minister in charge of local government, chieftaincy and regional affairs. Itimi ekopi mu a PAC committee, public accounts committee. Na unya omo attracts no omo to papa yi ano no obiebi nsem bi so a etimi indict Honorable Cecilia Dapaa pan ho toma onya enye asem koto akra na ni nyina eni se toilet facilities bia na omu ho adwuma ewo kumase no sika ekopie mu ho nkrata edi adanse ne de me na okasai omu etimi attraction omu etimi aranda no into the archives auditors ahodo ekọ ho se omkwaye adwuma no omu entimi enya nkrata bia edi adanse efasa project no ho a onua akwaye nsem bibra me na okasai yede bi exum wo yembo inra nsem nim na yehwe de ekọ ene de eba AGH Politics Avenue.
Now in 2026, as we consider this, and just 2 years, the evidence has been sent to archives. Is that how they do at the ministries? 2 years and it's at archives. What are they hiding from the auditors?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman is the reason why we are all here. The truth of the matter is that this transaction took place at the erstwhile Ministry of Sanitation and Water Resources, and it was under the leadership of Honorable Cecilia Dapaa. And I think it was 2019. So even though we are in 2026, it is 10 years, 5 years or 6 years now. So we did our best, but the good news is that the officers who handled this transaction are still at post in other ministries. So when Mantin went to them that they should bring the information, and they said it has been sent to archives, my good self, I said this is not acceptable. So I must commend the auditors for doing a very good job. And one of them is still at the Ministry of Defense, at the Director of Procurement. And he did the procurement then. Then the other one is at the Ministry of Trade. So even if they say the documents are sent to archives, the officers are still there. And that is, we don't have prosecutorial powers that even though we are ministry to ministry, because of this we are doing this. And that's why we have come here. So what we will plead with you is that we will serve you with the names. And this committee will summon them. Because archives, I don't know, the thing is not up to 10 years and you are taking them, you say that they've been sent to archives. And, Mr. Chairman, we have the names of the contractors here and the contracts. And it has to do with the government policy of toilet for all before 2020. And these contracts were awarded, the ministry, the information we had from our ministry, and the reason why we went to them for the information was that they were giving mobilization and they didn't go to site. And the contractors went on site, went on monitoring with the ministry team, the then ministry team, not local government, the then Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation. They went on site and realized that the work was not done. Therefore, they were coming back to either abrogate the contract and re-award. But here is the case, mobilization had already been given. So the matter was complicated. The director for procurement was one Mr. Theophilus Okan. He's still at the Ministry of Defense. And Mr. Bright Odro Kwatin, he's now Director of Finance at the Ministry of Trade and Agribusiness. So they are still alive. They are still in public service. And I don't want to be a victim of what the Bible says, that I was made to answer questions for which I have no idea about. So, Mr. Chairman, you can fall on them and we will come and explain. We have the documents, and if it is the view of this committee that we should serve you, we should lay it, we can lay it to you. The contractors need construction of 300 household toilets in Kumasi Metropolitan Assembly, construction of 200 household toilets in Tamale, construction of this and this. The contractors and their names with the amount are here, and we'll make them available to the committee. You call them, and directors are ever ready to give whatever information you want us to give to you. And once again, I must commend the auditors. We were not given. It is good that, as for you, you were given.
Thank you very much, Minister. Minister, in the letter that we wrote to you, we also mentioned that you bring in anybody who was related to it. So you could have come with them, because today, just before you came in, the Minister for Gender brought in the former Chief Director of the Gender Ministry. So clearly, you could have also brought them in to have made the work easier for all of us today. And then we could have summoned them, because in the letter we were clear that we would also want to see those who were at post when these infractions occurred.
Madam Chairperson, you are right. My good self, I was very annoyed with the disrespect to me as a minister, and being a member of parliament and knowing very well that the Auditor General is part of parliament. That is why I said, if they give us the answer that they have sent those documents to National Archives, I will come here. I know the next plan of action that my chairperson, your good self, and the hardworking members of the committee were going to do. I didn't want to be like, I'm over pestering him. I was, to be honest with you, I've just come from opposition. We were all part of those who were pursuing those matters in opposition. So I didn't want it to be personal or something like that. So you may forgive me with that. But that's why I've served you with their names. And my intention of mentioning their names is not for good, bad reason, but to make sure that what happened at the Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, our defense document will not be sent to archives in the next days. That's why I mentioned their names. Then you call them, the information, whatever, it must be brought. The team itself confirmed that they went around and most of the contractors defaulted. And they were going to abrogate, repackage, and re-award. But you can't do that if you have not followed up with the mobilization that was given. That's why we are bringing the information to you. So if you want all of us to come, you schedule a date, then call them. Whenever you want us to reappear, we'll reappear. This is a matter of much importance to all of us. Thank you very much.
Honorable Minister, that's exactly what we are going to do. Clerk, get the list of all these people. We are going to invite all of them. Also invite the minister and the current people out there. And wherever the documents are, they will have to come with them. You pay somebody mobilization to go and work. The person doesn't do it, takes the money. Then you come back, you want to abrogate this contract and repackage it and give it to somebody. Now, what I don't understand is the Ministry of Local Government, you were making payments for contracts that you don't have the contracts. You don't have the documents. Anyway, when all of you come, we will do it live.
Mr. Chairman, permit me to make a bit correction or clarification. These were outstanding claims submitted to us, but there were no supporting documents. You have sent the documents to National Archives. Who is going to pay your outstanding claims? There is no evidence to initiate payment, and that is why the amounts were not paid. The contrast, the decision of the former ministry was to abrogate, repackage, and re-award. Fortunately for them, the elections went the other way, and the ministry was collapsed. And I said, my ministry will not repackage anything because we have nothing to start with. Let the auditors bring the facts, then we'll go and face Public Accounts Committee. And that's why we are here. So we have not paid anything for no for no document to support us. It was all things happened in the former Sanitation Ministry.
Thank you very much, Honorable Member.
Chairman, thank you. Minister, could you see it's better to appear before the committee? All this thing is a hidden things that we do not know. But as you yourself, you are here, you were able to explain thoroughly to the committee. And therefore, whatever document you brought shall be the evidence that the committee will depend on it to get others. But let me ask you, Finance Man, when you are talking, you made mention of, is it 1.7, 1.2, you agree with the auditors to frag out. Can you explain that one? And what is the reason you agree with them to frag that one out?
Thank you. We agreed because the project has been completed and handed over. The outstanding commitments relates to a portion of the contract, which is consultancy fee for the architects. That's why we agreed that that one should be cancelled, because the consultancy fee will be paid to the consultants.
So did the auditors agree to your proposal you submitted to them?
Yes, please.
Auditors, can you confirm that?
Honorable Chair, we agreed with them, and that is why we have indicated, on the page that based on the schedule we had from the Ministry of Finance, and when we compared with the schedule they provided to us, those amounts, because they could not support them, we had to treat them as a difference.
Chairman, thank you.
Yes, Honorable Minister.
The Chairman, the 1,774,000 was in relation to the former Minister of Reorganization and Regional what? Regional reorganization. And it is not today's issue. That was in connection with the 6 new regions, the bungalows that were constructed in those regions. So the 3 normal bungalows were in connection with we also as Western North regional bungalows for the officers there.
Honorable Adam.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Minister, on page 79 of the report, your ministry has been cited for duplicate transaction reported, or some outstanding claims were identified as having been in duplicate to the tune of 408 million Ghana cedis, involving payments to 8 different contractors, including the Jospon Group of Companies, Obmike's Construction and Suppliers, Zoom Lion Ghana Limited, China State, and all of that. Minister, kindly walk us through the process by which a claim is initiated at the Ministry of Local Government before submission to the Ministry of Finance.
Mr. Chairman, once again, this matter has been dealt with, but because of the questions that have been attached to it, I remember Mango self and the Minister for Finance, together with the auditors, we all met. They all agreed that we were right. But by the template they are working with, they could not just take it out, just like that. So once again, I will let the Chief Accountant speak to it.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. They were not duplicates, as my minister has explained. If you look at the heading of the auditor's report, it says 408 million duplicate transaction reported in the schedule received from MOF, Ministry of Finance. So our template was not capturing the duplicate. The duplicates were in the template they received from Ministry of Finance. And then let me explain also that we are talking of, if you look into the various items, there were some they are saying BTAs. These amounts were included in the BTA, so that's why we rejected. They were given a template of outstanding commitments and claims. Then during the course of the audit, Ministry of Finance also teased out of the claims a schedule of BTAs outstanding. So in the course of the audit, if they have validated an item at BTA, then they will no longer validate it at the claims level. And so I remember at the validation at Ministry of Finance, I was strongly objecting to the word rejection. I was thinking it should be cancelled. So we agree with auditors that once they validated the items at BTA level, the items should be removed from the claims schedule. And then to your question, the consultant will submit the IPC on behalf of the contractor. First, the contractor will even request for payment through the consultant. The contractor will attach the IPC and supporting documents. The ministry will now initiate the process of payment through a release on the system and scan all the documents with a covering letter from the Chief Director to Ministry of Finance. Once it is approved at Ministry of Finance, then they will release the funds on the system, and then we'll go ahead to process the amount or the IPC on the system. After processing, the PV will also go back to Ministry of Finance for approval. Before they will also approve it, and it will go to Controller Accountant General. Then Controller Accountant General will now work on it and then put a BTA on it before we can pay.
Mr. Chairman, my follow-up question is, was there an exit? Did you have an exit meeting with the auditors?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The exit meeting was done at Ministry of Finance. So this issue was trashed out. But like my minister said, it is a template issue. They said the template they are working with, that's how it has to be.
Mr. Chairman, my last question will be, does the ministry maintain a live database system where, but for the audit, your own internal control systems would have detected issues of duplicates, but for the audit?
Honorable Chair, thank you. Yes. If you look at item 6, erection and completion of one normal 3-story RCC admin block at Cecilia, also in the Western North. This one, we have received the BTA and actually received the amount. But we had issues with the documents submitted by the consultants, and so we didn't pay. And then the money was swept back. As we speak now, those documentations have not been completed. And so we are waiting for them to complete the documentations, and then we will put in a request to controller for the BTA, the amount swept to be released back.
Mr. Chairman, can the auditors confirm if this issue was trashed out at the exit meeting? Thank you.
Honorable Chair, it was agreed that the amounts were duplicated on the Ministry of Finance schedule, hence we are reported on that, and we had that agreement.
Thank you for the opportunity, Chairman. I think one thing that keeps coming from several witnesses that have appeared before this committee is the issue of lack of reconciliation. But we hear the witnesses say that they actually input these things into the system. I'm not too sure whether the systems you are referring to is the gift mix system. And if it is,
we and some who team course or channel so mam and I was so yemre that's an so bad in the Dumbi Edumania. Ever saying Asia.